Welcome to another edition of Digital Marketing 101. I am Solomon Timothy. Today's question is it better to use Google remarketing or Facebook retargeting? All right, let's get started. If you're not familiar with the concept of remarketing and retargeting, they're actually the same thing. Google calls it remarketing, but it's its own term that it developed for getting traffic back to your website through paid ads, right? So if you went to a website, you left the website, you probably see ads about that particular site or their products. You click on it, that paid ad, every time you click on it, you go back to that site. It's kind of like a second chance, right? Second chance to show you the same offer. That's what retargeting or remarketing is. So there's two platforms. The biggest of two are Facebook or Google. And the question is, should I be on this or that? The question is really deep because they're saying like, hey, I'll probably only have $1,000, $500, maybe $5,000 for retargeting. Should I put all that money into one platform, or should I put, half and half, right? $2,500 going here, $2,500 going here. Well, the question is, should I eliminate a platform and go all out on one, or should I try to split my budget across many, many platforms? And typically when you do that, you get crappier results. You get subpar results because you're spending too little, all right? But in the case of remarketing, it's a little different. First of all, we're not going after user acquisition for the first time because you can remarket or retarget to anyone who's ever visited your site, regardless of how they found you. They found you on an organic social post. They're like, wow, this article is so great. Look at what Molly shared. I clicked on Molly's little share. I went on your website. Now all of a sudden, you didn't pay for my visit. You didn't have to pay through Google Ads or anything. You got me as a visitor, and if I like the product, I spend 5 seconds on it. You can get me back by showing an ad next to a YouTube video that I was watching, and that would be considered a Google retargeting, right? Google showed the ad next to a video, and you can only buy that if you're on the Google platform, or scrolling down Facebook newsfeed, and then I saw your ad, then now you have to have paid Facebook to have shown me the ad. I think it really comes down to where your audience might hang out more, right? If you can get both, fantastic. Get a big enough budget, get both of them because you're going to get your ads shown in different places. Facebook is a platform which comes with Instagram, gives you tons and tons of targeting abilities. So you might want to consider that if you think your audience hangs out on Facebook, Instagram, which by the way, B2B and B2C audience does. So I would go all in on Facebook, no doubt. But Google gives me places like YouTube that Facebook can't, right? So if you can work with that, then now you have a whole nother dimension to your retargeting, right? So as a digital marketer who always talks about a holistic strategy, I'm all about diversification. I like to see, is Google going to give me better cost per click? Typically the Google retargeting cost per click is going to be higher than Facebook retargeting, right? But Facebook is a completely different animal. It gives me a lot of creative abilities, like the type of post that I can be advertising. I can have a carousel, I can have a video, I can have long form ad copy in my Facebook remarketing, whereas Google, I have a couple of images that I could use or maybe HTML5 ads, but it's not going to give me a lot of flexibility, right? I gotta stay within a file size, very little customization. I gotta live with what Google's display network limitations or whatever their requirements, and that's all I have to work with. So there's not a lot of creative juices that I can be flowing when I have to stick all my ads in a square, a rectangle sort of sizes, right? So there's limitations, but Google is going to give me far more reach because the Google display network covers 98% of the whole entire internet. You got to decide what is it that you're looking for yourself. You want the breadth of visibility? Great. But you might be paying a little bit premium on the cost per click. Now, if you want a lot of customization and a lower cost, it's probably a Facebook play. Now, as a B2B marketer that works with other organizations, both are extremely important in your strategy. That's the piece that you need to understand. You have to have a retargeting strategy because most of the time, you know this, 98% of visitors that go to a website leave without making any sort of purchase or filling out a form or even downloading a small resources like a lead magnet, right? So they're not really engaging with your content. Don't assume that not doing retargeting is the solution. In fact, it's so much more expensive to acquire visitors than it has ever been, right? You have to pay or do some serious organic traffic to acquire users to your website, and then you have to work really hard to engage them and keep them long enough on the site so that you can get some positive kudos from Google from an organic perspective. It is extremely difficult to win the user acquisition. So why not do remarketing? As I said earlier, your second chance to serve them and show them something different, maybe an offer, maybe another product, maybe a use case, maybe a video testimonial of somebody using your product or service and that are extremely happy with your service. So we love to have our retargeting strategy kind of be broken up into different buckets. People that just maybe landed on your website for the first time, they can have a different offer, right? From a retargeting perspective. This is my offer 1, and this would become my offer 2, and this would be my bottom of funnel offer. So think about that. You could literally segment your audience to that just visited your website, maybe a blog post that you're really promoting heavy. After that, you may want to get them to a live webinar, a live demo. That would be the second offer that you show. Now, everyone that's been to the demo, you might want to show them the next step, which is maybe a testimonial, somebody comparing your services to someone else that enables them to move them towards from a consideration to a decision stage, right? So remarketing, you could do a lot of magic. So my recommendations, you need to have a solid remarketing, retargeting strategy. The platform, the budget is irrelevant, all right? Because at the end of the day, if you believe in getting them back to your website, then you're good, right? You want to invest into that strategy, creating different offers to get them back to your website is the name of the game. So you really want to invest into that, because think about it, just one of your blog post goes viral and get a lot of visits. If you don't have a solid retargeting strategy, you weren't pixeling these people, you have no way of piggybacking on that spike of traffic that you had one day. Unfortunately, you can't do anything about that. But if you actually pixel your traffic, you were having a very solid remarketing, retargeting strategy, you're increasing the budget every single month or quarter or every year. And when that happens, you're going to get a lot of people seeing the offers that you're really looking to push, which is your live demo or maybe an in-person consultation or whatever it is you do, going to get you to move them to the next step in that buying journey, right? So remarketing is very, very effective. I've seen products on a retargeting ad and I clicked on it, purchased, and you might have done that. We measure everything down to a purchase. Reality in marketing. Everything is like ROI, ROI, ROI. But what is the ROI of them seeing your brand all over the internet? That brand awareness is going to give you so much more, in my opinion, than a few $100s that you're going to spend or a few $1,000s that you're going to spend on remarketing. I believe the value of having your brand be seen everywhere they go is priceless, and it's going to move them towards being more comfortable doing business with you because they're just seeing your brand constantly over and over. So that's my answer for should I be spending money on retargeting on Google or Facebook? The answer is both. Work on Google remarketing, work on Facebook retargeting, and have a solid strategy that's going to move every single person that sees your ad to the next step in that buyer's journey, getting them closer to buying from you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, click that like button, consider subscribing, leave me a comment, tell me your questions about retargeting. I'd love to have a follow-up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.